Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Heaven's Reflex. Welcome to Beauty's home. Welcome to the place that God made when he was in a good humour. In the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to find out if God is a Kerry man or a Cork man. Because if he's a Cork man, you're all going to be leaving here wet. So let's hope he's a Kerry man. To officially welcome us all here this afternoon, it's my pleasure to call upon the Minister for Culture, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, Deputy Josepha Madigan, TD.
Your Royal Highnesses, Cathaoirleach, Lord Mayor, members of Kerry County Council, deputies and senators, Minister Griffin, friends. It gives me great pleasure to be here this afternoon, on a personal level and on behalf of the government. I hope that you have enjoyed your few days here in the southwest, blessed, luckily, with the lovely weather. Tá fáilte is fiche romh go dtí an contae an a gléitear an riocht, agus tá 100,000 fáilte romh an seo go dtí an áit is áile domhan. An áit amháin ina bhfuil slíomh, lach agus spéir I gach lúidir íomhais. You are very welcome to the county referred to as the Kingdom, and especially to one of the most scenic places in the world. A truly unique place where mountain, lake and sky are in a permanent conspiracy of beauty. Your Royal Highnesses, I have been following closely your visit here this week, and it is clear from the warmth of the welcome here in Kerry today and yesterday in Cork, your visit has been a real success. Ending your few days here in Killarney House is a very fitting way to round off a packed programme. Over 150 years ago, Queen Victoria, her husband Prince Albert and her children arrived in Killarney by train. On her first night, she stayed in Kenmare House, which once stood on these grounds. The Killarney House we see today was formerly the stables of Kenmare House. The hosts of the Queen on her first night in Killarney were the representatives of the Brown family, the Lord and Lady Castleross. It was the Browns, later holders of the title of Earl of Kenmare, who organised the creation of the ornamental gardens in the early 18th century. I am delighted that the Royal Highnesses have followed in Queen Victoria's footsteps. Killarney is truly one of the most beautiful places in the world, and as Minister with responsibility for this national park, I am especially proud to open these golden gates to our masterpiece of nature for such illustrious visitors. Your programme over the last few days has brought you in contact with many of our political leaders, both nationally and locally here in the southwest. Your visit has also allowed you to connect with the local people, just as Queen Elizabeth did during her visit to Cork in 2011, and I hope you felt the same energy in the English market, which was so evident there during their visit. The last few days has also brought attention to some other important issues, and I would like to particularly thank you, Your Royal Highness, for visiting the Women's Refuge in Coonley in Cork. I know that this is an issue to which you devote much of your time, both in the UK and when travelling abroad. And I also hope you enjoyed spending time with the Irish guide dogs this morning too. The difference these animals make to people's lives is extraordinary. I was also very pleased to see the enormous bravery and public service of our Navy and the commitment and sacrifices of their families honoured yesterday at the naval base in Hull Bowline. The leadership that Prince Charles has shown in relation to the issue of ocean plastics is inspiring, and I hope that you enjoyed working with the children at Derrynane this morning on this issue. Also this morning, you showed your desire to continue to learn and understand our history by visiting the home of Daniel O'Connell. This sustained interest and the respect that you have continually shown are important milestones in our journey to greater understanding of one another, a deepening of our friendship, and a closeness that neighbours can and should enjoy. And you also got to visit some of Kerry's national treasures at Derrynane Beach, at Sheamshire in Tralee, and here in Killarney at Muckross House. We really are spoiled for choice here in Killarney, and it gives me great pleasure that your final point on this tour is here in Killarney House, in the magnificent setting of this national park. The park is truly, in the words of the poet Gerard Manley Hopkins, the land of the sheave light, the beautiful ethereal lances of sunlight that pierce the canopy of a wood. A magical place, and we are thrilled to share it with you. And this was a panorama, beloved too, of Percy Shelley. The weather was wet and windy when he visited in 1813, but the beauty of Killarney etched a place in his heart, and 5 years later, when looking for a cottage to rent in Italy, he wrote of Lake Como, "The lake exceeds anything I beheld in beauty, with the exception of the Arbutus Islands of Killarney. They are now as they were then. All that's left for me to do at this point is to wish you a safe trip home and to provide an assurance that you and your family will always be welcome here in Ireland, and we look forward to welcome you back very soon. Ganarian Bohuliv, Eran Malak Awalia, Sloan Ispanically."
Thank you very much indeed, Minister. And maybe I'm not overstating it to say historic occasion here this afternoon in beautiful Killarney House. For those of you who aren't really fully aware of it, please let me tell you a little bit about the Order of Innisfallen. Just like so much else about Killarney, this is a unique concept. It is in fact the only one of its type in Ireland, insofar as it's a joint collaboration between our local municipal council and the Killarney Chamber of Tourism and Commerce. The purpose, ladies and gentlemen, of the Order of Innisfallen Awards is very simple and very straightforward. It's a way of allowing the Killarney community to recognise, to celebrate, and most of all to say thank you to all of those many people who have down through the years played a big part in making Killarney and indeed the Kingdom of Kerry the wonderful place it is today. The Order of Innisfallen is the highest and the most distinguished award that it's within the power of the representatives of the people of Killarney to confer on anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks the 15th investiture ceremony of the Order of Innisfallen since it was first inaugurated in 2005. In that time, a total of just 24 very diverse and very special people have been honoured with membership of the Order, some of whom I'm delighted to say are here with us today, and I'd like to extend a special Céad Míle Fáilte to them. The most recent recipient of the Order was our former Taoiseach, Deputy Enda Kenny TD, in December of last year. Today, we gather to honour our 25th and our 26th inductees into the Order, His Royal Highness Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, and his wife, Her Royal Highness Camilla, Dutchess of Cornwall. Your Royal Highnesses, we are absolutely delighted you've chosen to visit us here in Killarney during the course of your latest Irish visit. You honour us with your presence, and we all hope and trust that you will carry home with you many memories of your all too brief visit. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first royal visit that Killarney has hosted. In fact, it's the 6th such visit through the ages. The first of these visits took place 160 years ago this year, in April of 1858, when the then Prince of Wales, Albert Edward, who went on to become King Edward VII, spent a week here in Killarney on a private visit and stayed in the very appropriately named Royal Victoria Hotel. This was followed shortly thereafter by the momentous and truly historic visit of Prince Charles's great-great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, in August of 1861. This was actually a 3-day visit, but it was a 3-day visit which had a profound and lasting impact on the social, cultural and economic fabric of our town and our region, the positive effects of which we all still enjoy to this day. That visit, ladies and gentlemen, was one of the major catalysts which firmly put Killarney on the tourist trail that it has so faithfully followed with such commitment, dedication and distinction to all of the succeeding generations. Your Royal Highnesses, your presence among us here today is in many ways highly symbolic of the bonds that have been forged between British tourists and the people of Killarney and Kerry over the course of the last 1.5 centuries. These bonds are unbendable, they are unshakable, and they are unbreakable. And we in Killarney have no doubt that they will grow more firm, more strong, and more meaningful in the years and decades ahead. All of us here in Killarney are delighted that you have accepted the Order of Innisfallen. We ask you both to accept it as a gesture of appreciation and respect from the people of Killarney. But more importantly, we ask that you accept it as a recognition of the immensely deep and wonderful influence and impact that countless generations of British tourists have had on Killarney, and the vital part that they have played in moulding and shaping our Killarney community into the uniquely vibrant, special and wonderful place that it is today. To formally enter their Royal Highnesses into the Order of Innisfallen, may I please ask you all to welcome the Mayor of Killarney, Councillor Niall Kelleher. Thank you.
Your Royal Highnesses, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, as Mayor of Killarney, it is my great honour and privilege, on behalf of the people of this wonderful town and surrounding districts, to formally welcome you and extend a warm Céad Míle Fáilte to you both. This Order of Innisfallen Award recognises the enormous contribution of the British people to the economic well-being of Killarney, the premier tourist town in Ireland down through the generations. Innisfallen is the largest island on Lough Lane, which in turn is the largest of the world-famous lakes of Killarney. It translates as the Lake of Learning due to its scholarly history. It was on the island that the precious Annals of Innisfallen, a chronicle of the medieval history of Ireland, were scripted by the monks with more than 2,500 entries, spanning the years between 433 and 1450. And I'm sure you will be interested to know that the annals are currently housed in the Bodleian Library in Oxford. Being inducted to the Order of Innisfallen is the greatest gift Killarney can give to you, and I know that it is something that you will appreciate, just as we appreciate your presence here today, which is a wonderful boost to our town. I trust that the people of Britain are fully aware that we greatly and wholeheartedly acknowledge their support of the tourism industry in Killarney and throughout the Kingdom of Kerry. And we can assure them and you that in Killarney we make a great effort to ensure that every person that considers our town a destination that is worth visiting is indeed treated like royalty. It is my great honour to later induct both of you to the Order of Innisfallen.
The symbolism of the specially commissioned gold lapel pins, which can only be worn by members of the Order and which will be presented to their Royal Highnesses momentarily. Can I please welcome the President of the Killarney Chamber of Tourism and Commerce, Mr. Paul O'Neill.
Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished guests, ministers, ladies and gentlemen. As President of the Killarney Chamber of Tourism and Commerce, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you here today among us. As already mentioned, the bonds between the people of the United Kingdom and the people of Killarney run strong and deep. The United Kingdom has always been, and no doubt always will be, one of the fundamental blocks in Killarney's social and economic makeup. Occasions such as today serve to enhance and strengthen those bonds and those relationships on all levels. Michael Rosny and Mayor Kelleher have already explained the uniqueness and the importance of the Order of Innisfallen. And now I have the honour to present you with a lapel pin which can only be worn by a member of the Order. Each pin is individually commissioned and crafted by renowned local goldsmith Brian the Stack. And on the face of it is depicted a Hiberno Romanesque doorway dating back to the 12th century, which still stands on Innisfallen Island today.
Thank you very much indeed, Paul. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I please ask the Mayor of Killarney, Councillor Niall Kelleher, and our Chamber President, Paul O'Neill, to present the scroll of the Order of Innisfallen and the lapel pins to their Royal Highnesses.
Paul. Looking this way, Niall. There. Paul. Okay, he's okay.
Very quick things to their Royal Highnesses. Your Royal Highness, your ancestor, the Prince of Wales, when he visited, he did not visit once, he visited twice. And the second thing, Your Royal Highness, Killarney does repeat tourism. This one here.